Okay, I think I am live. I have no way of knowing. Other than that, I see a live, uh, it says live on my phone here, but it doesn't show me that anybody's watching. Oh, finish. Finish? Oh, no, no, I don't want to stop. That's if I want to stop. Ah, somebody showed up. Okay, so I'm here at New York University, and I've had a lot of requests. Let me know if those of you leaving messages if you can hear me okay. I've had a lot of requests to do a studio tour. I'm sitting at the Tisch School of the Arts. I think this floor is technically the Skirball Center for New Media, and this is the view. Ooh, look, it's kind of like a there's some sort of beautiful sunset cloud action happening back there in New York City. And I'm going to flip the camera. And I'm going to walk down this hallway. We can see where we are. There's probably some interesting movie posters here, given that this is a film school. And now I'm going to find over here. Let's see, let's look out the window.
Hey.
Hello. I'm going to go over here and into this room. I'm going to use my ID. It's going to open. And then here we are. So this is the room. I don't know what else to do now. Okay, let me put the camera on me. Yeah, I hid the camera because I didn't want to show other people who maybe didn't want to be live on a live stream. So here I am in the room where I record all of my videos. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually record a couple videos in a moment, but I'm going to go through. It's quite small, yes. There's some filing. Okay, wait, hold on. Let me turn this around. I'll show you some things first that are in the room and how it's set up. It's a bit of a mess. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and sort of set up all the things I need to set up, and then I'll switch to the actual recording system and live stream. So first of all, those of you who are interested in Coding Train merchandise, here's some sample t-shirts that I have. You can see, let's see, I gotta turn on some of these. First of all, here's the thermostat. Let's see, maybe I can tell it to cool down in here. Turn that on to 90 minutes. Okay, I am going to turn on this light to make things brighter. There's a button here. Oh, it's not plugged in. I forgot. I have some things unplugged. This is really riveting. Okay, so I'm going to plug in some of these lights, and then this light is on. This is the camera. So this is a Mark III camera. You can see it has an HDMI out, which I am getting here, and that camera is pointed at this particular whiteboard, and the whiteboard is in fact painted onto the wall. So this is the whiteboard paint over here that was used to paint onto the wall. Okay, now, so that's this side of the room. Camera, light. Now, I don't actually have the lights pointed towards the whiteboard, unfortunately, because, and somebody warned me about this whiteboard is very, very, very reflective. So so that didn't really work, unfortunately. Okay, now over here, this is the table that I stand behind. It is a kind of standing desk contraption. It has this button on it where it can move up and down. And then if you're wondering, first of all, there's your live chat. I think, this is probably a live chat with something else. This is the computer, my monitor, which I use to sort of see what everything looks like. So let me, I have to figure out, let's see, hold on. Let's see what I can do. I am going to put my phone right here on my laptop for a second, and I'm going to start turning some things on. Okay, so I am going to log out of here. I don't know what I'm doing here. Leave. I am going to unprepared. So what I'm doing right now is I am getting my computer set up to live stream. So, and I should have done this in advance, and I can see people are sending me messages. I need a haircut. Yeah. Oh, I really should have gone to get a haircut and trimmed it before. This was a bad idea to do this studio walkthrough. You're getting a much more close-up view of my very not so nicely manicured self. Okay, here we go. Interact. Okay. Okay, so now you can see here, this is the that I use, and it is currently not plugged. This is just it right here. That's the screen that you usually see. But what it needs is it needs to be plugged in to the capture system. So I'm looking for this particular cable. I'm going to plug it in. Once that happens, resolution changes, and I look over here. Now look over here on my monitor. Oops, my finger is in front of the camera. Boy, this is not very good production value. My finger's in front of the camera again. Okay, this is my monitor. It's that I look at to the side. There's my random digits book with a train whistle. And you'll notice there's a big black square there. So why is there a big black square? It's because that is the rectangle, so to speak, that is the place for the image that this camera sees. So I'm going to turn this camera on. And now, as I walk back over here, you will see that there I am live keyed with the green screen behind me and the monitor. So this software that you're looking at is called Wirecast. And there's an open source, it's a broadcasting, it's made by Telestream, it's broadcasting software. And there's an open source free equivalent called Open Broadcast Studio. And I'm thinking of switching over to that just to use something that's open source. I think it's open source. But Wirecast is pretty great. I have enjoyed using it. I had some issues this morning where it was crashing. But a couple things that a Wirecast allows me to do. If I turn on this other camera, oops, am I pressing the wrong buttons? Oh, you know what? Maybe it's not plugged in. Let's see here. Oops. Press this button. No, why is this camera not turning on? Ooh, okay, hold on. Hardware debugging session is a terrible idea. Ooh, this looks like this cable goes to here. Got loose maybe? All right, I'm gonna have to, hold on. I don't know what you should look at right now. I gotta put my phone down for a second to test this. Okay, let me put it here and do this. Okay, hold on a second. I am going to go down. Can you hear me? I am going to go over there to check to see if the cable is plugged in. I do need this camera to work to make videos. Okay, so here it is. Did I move? I've never had this problem. Did I unplug something unwittingly? One thing that I could really use is like cleaning up all these cables. Aha! The reason the camera is not turning on is this. This must go into an outlet. Okay. I'm going to plug it in now. I'll be right back. Okay. Now, plug that in. And now this needs a different plug, which is here. And now, magic of magic. This camera, I believe, it turned on. And so now, here we go. Camera, which is pointed at this whiteboard, is now, I can see it there as shot number 2. So basically, the way that I switch while I'm live streaming between shots, switch this back here. The way that I switch between live stream and shots is I have them mapped to key strokes. So if I press 1, then that's what I see. If I press 2, then that's what I see. So I can live switch between the two views, and I can also press 3, which goes to this ridiculous video. So whiteboard, camera and laptop, and a ridiculous video. So I really only have 3 shots. I also have another shot, which is just, that's it. Oh, I actually have this, which I don't have a key map to it, but that is just a shot that shows exactly what the camera is seeing. So there's my random digits. Here's my train whistle. And yeah, at one point I actually had and like a big red button. It wasn't that big, and that was like much more fun to use. But then I realized I could just use a keyboard, and so that's what I switched. I prefer a blackboard. No, blackboard, the chalk on the blackboard, it gives me the like tingly, wiggly, uncomfortable feelings. So I much prefer a whiteboard. What else do I need to show? Okay, so a couple things. So all of this stuff, how's this working? Like what computer is running this? So the computer is on the Mac tower, and you'll notice all the inputs running into it. So all of these are all those camera inputs. This is for Ethernet. This, I believe, is the microphone. I'll show that in a second. Though maybe this is the microphone. I don't know what this is. Oh, it's just the keyboard probably. So everything runs into this Mac tower, and this is the streaming computer. And so one thing I need to show is, so here's one of the cameras, for example. Coming out of the camera is this HDMI cable. So the cable comes all the way out. This cable doesn't go directly into the tower. It goes into this particular box, which is called, I think it's like a Blackmagic Intensity Extreme. So you can see it goes HDMI in and then Thunderbolt out. So this is necessary because it's not natively a capture device. It's not natively a capture device. And there's one of my lights. So let's turn on this light. This is another light. I will turn it on. It makes the keying much better. So there we go. I turned on this light, and now that's this light with like a softbox. So I could really use, one thing I really want to do is get a little bit of a grid going in here with more light, so the lighting is a bit more from above. What else do I have to show you? I have some, I raided my kids' train toy bin at home and brought some train toys in, thinking I would use them as props. I haven't figured that out yet, how to do that. Let's see, what else is in here? Lights, I showed you the shirts that I'm working on making available. And, okay, so other things, all of this stuff. Here is, this is the lav mic. This is what's going into the computer with a little antenna here. And I have 2 bars of battery left. So it does say low battery is on. So I might switch the batteries before I start. And then that connects to this particular microphone. So this is the microphone that I use to attach to myself and talk into. So now you can see that it's on. Over there you'll see green on the right, so I can tell that the mic is working. And then the other thing that I sometimes do for sound effects is the laptop here. This output, which goes through a Blackmagic box into the computer, I can actually send audio out of that as well. So I capture that audio into Wirecast. So any audio playing out of this laptop also appears. So I don't know how to demonstrate that super easily, but so then I do a weird thing, which is that I AirPlay an iPad to get audio from like a soundboard on an iPad. But I really want to redo that system. It's not working very well for me. I can't believe that there's 745 people watching this right now. I'm about to switch over. I think I've done all the setup stuff. I'm about to switch over to do an actual tutorial. This was just a little bit of a preview. People have been asking about a walkthrough of the studio. I can see chat comments here. Maybe I can kind of take a few questions about what's going on in here. So if you guys could limit your questions to questions related to the studio. Have I ever thought about doing a live show? Yes. Clean your whiteboard. I really need to clean the whiteboard. Why? Oh, the camera and the pressing the button. The camera, stop switching the camera and the pressing the button, the issue with these cameras is, and I probably should just use different Mark III 5D cameras. You know, the things I like about them is I can put a custom lens on it, I can have a, focus, they're good quality, there's lots of good things about them. They also natively do HDMI out, the Mark III, the Mark II does not, so I just get a nice clean output. The problem is, and apparently this is, what I need to do is install the Magic Lantern firmware, but I'm a little bit afraid of breaking the cameras. So I just kind of haven't gotten around to doing that. And these cameras are, technically used for other things as well. So these aren't my personal cameras, they're, borrowed. Oh yeah, how much are those lights from the the lights aren't that close to the thermostat. There's a light there. There's the thermostat. I don't know. But the room does kind of heat up, and in theory, I should be getting air from up there, but I haven't really noticed it. Okay, what button do you press when you switch between the whiteboard and the green background? So I showed that previously already, but just to show you again, I just use keyboard shortcuts, and then I can switch, and you can see it on my monitor over here. So that's why I'm kind of often, my computer went to sleep. That's why I'm often over here doing this. You can't see. I'm doing this like I'm pretending that I'm referencing things where really all I'm doing is my hand is by the whiteboard. And what I really want to do is install a big giant monitor up there behind the camera, because what I would like to be able to do is read the, sort of see a live chat, while I'm looking forward as opposed to looking to the side. You can see this is the chat that I look at during the live stream. I also have a second laptop, which I'm not going to open right now, but I have a secondary laptop over here, which I use to kind of monitor the stream and that sort of thing. Okay. Hold on. Let's see, what else? Why do I use a Mac? That's what I have. Any specific reason why you use a Mac Pro? It's what I had access to. Have I thought about using a light board? Yes. So I have this idea, and I haven't really had the time to sort of think about it, but I have this idea to have a glass pane, or like right here between me and the camera, so I could draw on it and it would be in front of me and see through, as opposed to the white that is behind me. So yes, I have thought about that. Okay, I think, what time is it? I have no idea. So this studio is at New York University. I work here at New York University full time. This is actually like an storage closet. It's a big storage closet. You'll notice that there's some filing cabinets. I don't know what's in the filing cabinets. It's a mystery. It's a mystery to me, but they are in here. There are filing cabinets. Okay. Thank you for watching this. I can do a more thoughtful version of this another time. Do I look better if I put the camera higher? But I think I should get going with doing some actual tutorials. So all 814 of you apparently who are watching, which is nuts, which is now 805. I should create a This Dot shirt. That's a great suggestion. That's a great suggestion. I should create a This Dot shirt. And maybe I'll do that as a kind of limited special run. Maybe I can do it as a fundraiser for a good coding cause. So I'm going to turn off my phone, which will turn off this live stream, and then I'm not immediately, but about 5 minutes, I am going to switch and press this button up here, which will turn on my stream and also record a backup, and that will send out what you're seeing here straight to YouTube. Someone asked when I'm going to have a... People are asking about the name of the channel. I guess since this is like a just sort of arbitrary, let me just give the short version of this story. So I called the channel Coding Rainbow at one point because I love an old show called Reading Rainbow, and I love the idea of rainbow as a friendly, welcoming symbol. And Reading Rainbow is one of my favorites. It's a television program that I loved, a PBS program here in the United States about reading and literacy with a wonderful host named LeVar Burton. So I kind of didn't really think that I was doing a thing because I was just kind of making videos, and I called it Coding Rainbow as a sort of idea. Informally, and then I went a little bit too far with it, and I think that I started doing this more as a regular thing, and unfortunately, rightly so, the logo was too close to Reading Rainbow, and it was confusing and a bit of a trademark issue. So I decided to change the name, And I went through a lot of different options, and coding Trainbow seemed like a good idea at the time, and so that's what I went with as a new name. So maybe next year I'll change the name again, but there was a Coding Rainbow song, a music video, and there still is that music video and song, but it's all been redacted and blurred and some of the lyrics taken out. So I am working on a new one with the same composer, Adam Blau, and hope to have a new video as well. So, why do I stream on YouTube, not Twitch? Maybe I should stream on Twitch? YouTube has just been the platform that I started. I used to have all my videos on Vimeo, and I uploaded a few to YouTube, I think it was maybe a year and a half ago, and I just discovered there was a new audience for it there. And I used to stream both to Twitch and YouTube, but it never really caught on, and sometimes the chat in Twitch was a little bit... sometimes the chat in YouTube isn't as friendly as it could be, but the chat in Twitch was... there was a little bit more of a kind of mean-spirited energy. I'm sure there's plenty of Twitch channels and chats that are lovely. Somehow it just didn't really catch on. Anyway, so I am going to turn this off. I do teach full-time at New York University. Yes, a program called ITP. If you're interested in learning more about it, you can go to itp.nyu.edu. I also used to record my videos at a place called the School for Poetic Computation, which is sfpc.io. That's an independent artist-run school here in New York. But now I'm back and kind of doing most of the videos at NYU. Okay, so here we go. I don't know what time it is. I got to check. Oh, it's 6 o'clock. That's when I said the live stream would start. So I got to turn this off. I don't use Open Broadcasting Studio for streaming, but I'm thinking about switching to it. Could I keep streaming both? I have no idea. Let's try. Ha! This is exciting. Okay. I'm going to put this here. Okay, my phone is here. There we go. There, I got to plug this laptop in. Don't worry, not going anywhere. Still here. This is really exciting. I am going to, what's going to happen? Double live stream on the same account? It can't let me do that, can it? I'm a little bit too tall for the way I did my phone. Let's see if I can do that. Okay. So now what I'm doing, just to narrate what I'm doing, turning on my laptop. I'm looking at the live stream preview over there. I see the YouTube chat. Let me open up my Slack channel. So if you're wondering why I keep referring to this Slack channel is to support, to kind of have a bit more, I don't know. I have a Patreon. I don't know how to describe that I have that. Patreon is a thing where people can contribute monthly to content creators in a Kickstarter-like way, and I have one. And so as a reward for that Patreon, I have a Slack channel where it's a little bit easier for me to follow that chat live because it's a smaller group, and also it's a continuous community, a very warm, lovely community. So if anybody's interested in that, you can go to thecodingtrain.com. Okay, let me go over here. Oh, look at this. It says I'm streaming right now. Okay, I'm going to type, I am going to try to stream in both places. Typing that into the YouTube chat. Okay? And now I'm going to go check the Slack channel and go to my live channel. It says reconnecting, retry, connect. Okay. Okay, what shampoo do I use? Somebody asks. Well, I do have a bit of a dandruff problem. I don't know if that's a good thing to admit. Yeah, I have some mild psoriasis. I've got lots of issues. Lots of anxiety. But I'm trucking along. I'm here. I'm doing my best. Shampoo. I don't know. I just use whatever shampoo nobody else is using in my house. I like tea tree oils. It's very soothing. Okay. C. Manning. I hope you really appreciated that answer to that question. Okay. I am going to attempt. Going to attempt to stream in 2 places. Will it work? Okay, so now I need to put the microphone on. I can't see this chat anymore. Okay. I can't really read the YouTube chat on my phone right now because it is a little too far away from me. I have some vision issues. That's another issue I have. These glasses, I think I need a new prescription. I need reading glasses. The good thing about the Kindle is I can make the font. I love to read. Books are a great thing. fiction. I'm all about. I'm like way behind the times, but I'm in like. I'm in Harry Potter and Game of Thrones lands. Those are the books that I read. Okay, here we go. So I should probably tweet that live stream happening again. Friday evening live stream. http youtube.com/user/shiftman/live. And there we go. I tweeted that. Now I don't like having these two Twitter accounts. I have @Shiftman, I have @thecodingtrain. I don't like that. Now I'm going to retweet it from the Coding Train. And hit retweet, there we go. So everybody's been notified who needs to be notified. Close that down. And we go back to my Slack channel. Use HTTPS. Okay, here we go. Ooh. All right, I'm just looking. Your pullover is so purple. Yeah, anyway, okay. This is an exciting moment. I've got 820 people watching here. I'm about to go live also on YouTube right here. Where will there be more people? How many people can we get? Will it be the same people? Can you have both up? I don't know. This is just a moment. Eventually my phone battery is going to die. Really, but we'll just let it keep going. What is that Google shirt? Google Summer of Code. I'll talk about it in the other live stream. Okay. Here we go. Is the audio working? I've got the mic on. Well, let me put it in a better place. Here we go. Let's try it. Chord, stream. Okay, I should be live now here. Do you see me here? Do you see me here? I'm live in two places at once on YouTube, or this is not working. I have no idea what's going to happen. Is it the same URL? Or is this one just going to take over? Someone please let me know what's going on. It's working fine on both. Fantastic. Okay, so we'll just keep. So people are asking, what is this other live stream? I don't know which one you are. That's the thing, man. Whoa. I don't know. There's two live streams going on. One is the camera that I'm talking to you directly right here. This is my usual live stream that's going out through a computer down there through Wirecast onto YouTube. Over here, I'm talking to you right now. You are my phone. Hi, phone. You are broadcasting through the YouTube mobile app. Before I started this camera over here, I did this camera over here and I walked it around to show a walkthrough of my studio. This eventually will end and they'll both be archived. So, do you see the phone? You see the phone? I don't know what's going on. Okay. So I don't know, I'm like surrounded by computer screens and cameras. I'm going a little bit crazy. Yeah, the phone live stream does not seem to have a delay on it, which is kind of amazing. And this one really does seem to have quite a big delay, as it always has had. Okay, where will you hear the train whistle? Where will the train whistle go? Okay, first thing first, which is not the first thing, but the last thing, or the not last thing. I need to quit this silly thing. I need to go onto, I'm there. I need to get my soundboard. For those of you who are on the, this is a very ancient old iPad that I dug out of the closet at home. And if I turn it on and go to AirPlay, this is me continuing now my walkthrough of the studio. Last step. Well, how come that's not? Oh, it must be logged onto the wrong Wi-Fi network. Hold on, everyone. I'm going to go to settings. Oh, this is terrible. What time is it, by the way? 6:09. Okay. Oh, no, I'm on the right Wi-Fi. I'm not going to worry about this too much because I don't want to waste your time while I try to hook this up. What if I go here and say this is on the right Wi-Fi? And what if I go here and say rebroadcast services? Okay, let's see if that works. Huh, weird. All right, whatever. No soundboard right now. What is my best dad joke? Thank you, @Josh Gorin on Twitter. This is not my best one, it's just the only one I can think of right now. You know, I've been thinking a lot about the creators of Mad Libs, and they must be laughing all the way to the shoe. Oh, if only I had my soundboard, I could play my ba-dum chunk or something. I don't understand. Why is this not airplaying? I'm going to just power it off. And I'm going to power it back on. I'm going to quit this. This is a totally unnecessary thing. And I'm on this particular Wi-Fi network, yes. That's not even a joke, yeah. Why did the, you know what, one of my kids used to love to tell the interrupted cow knock knock joke. Knock knock, who's there? The interrupted cow, moo. But he would always just say the moo after you said the whole thing, the interrupted cow, moo. I always thought that was so funny. Okay. So what am I here? So I did a live stream earlier this morning where I did a bunch of tutorials about a physics library called matter.js. And I am back. And I'm here to continue. And I would like to do, there's some good jokes in the chat. Why did the shy pebble want to be when she grew up? I'm a little bit afraid. Maybe am I starting a joke that's going to be inappropriate? I hope not. Here's my dad joke. Except I have nobody to do this with. I have to do it with myself. Knock knock. Who's there? The interrupting coefficient of friction. The interrupting coefficient of friction. Mu! There you go. Okay. Let's see if this works. I'm going to try to airplay this. Wow. Completely. This is I just definitely need a new way of doing these sound effects. This way is the worst. This ancient iPad doesn't even have, the AirPlay option is like totally gone now. I don't know what happened to it. This is here. I really should just give up on this. Instead, what I'll do is give up on this. Okay, I'll come back to it later. Okay, now, I think some people really enjoyed that, actually, strangely enough. Okay. Yeah, okay, so I still, okay, somebody tell me how many people are in the actual YouTube chat, which is this camera right here, because right now I see that there are 540 in my green wall chat. Okay, come on, soundboard, I just feel, AirPlay, there it is. Mirroring, turn on mirroring. Appear. This is the worst. This is like debugging a totally unnecessary thing. It appeared, so I thought, okay, this will work now. And now I've made it even worse because it doesn't work. So sad. Because now at least when it's Friday evening, there's nobody on this floor and I don't worry too much about making a lot of noise. And I can play music and be a little bit more loud and ridiculous. So I feel like, hey, music. Okay, so I'm going to give up on this. And I'm going to get with, you know what the thing is? I can play my music anyway. It just won't go through Wirecast. Let's see what happens. As always, I always forget the this dot, and then do this dot, and then do this dot, and then do this dot, Kind of works. I don't know if you can hear that through the mic. Okay. Wow, I'm looking at everybody's awesome screenshots of me streaming in multiple directions. Okay, let's see what's going on here. I'm going to open up Atom. I am going to open up Terminal. I am going to run a server. I'm going to minimize Terminal. I'm going to open up a browser, which apparently is already open. I'm going to go to localhost, and I'm going to check out the last example I made, which was this one. There it is, the swinging circles. And what I would like to do first is do a coding challenge. And that coding challenge is, I'm sure, yeah, I'm gonna do the coding challenge. And I'm gonna do a coding challenge, and the coding challenge I'm going to do is to make Plinko. Plinko with matter.js. How's that gonna go? What do you guys think about that? This is 100% something I have never done before. Sometimes a coding challenge is like, oh, I did it like a couple of years ago, or like this is an example that I already have that I know, or I looked at this other person's thing. I have no plan whatsoever other than the words Plinko, P5.js, and matter.js. Are you with me? Okay. Affirmative. I take that as an affirmative. Okay, so what do I first need to do? I would like to grab something that I can use, like this folder, and I'm going to call this Plinko. And now I'm going to go to Atom, and I'm going to go to Plinko, and I think I'm going to delete that. And I'm going to go to Sketch. I'm going to delete everything but Setup and Draw. And goodbye camera. Okay. Okay. That mug from the phone. Oh, did I put the I put the mug in? Gotta stay hydrated. Okay. This is, by the way, okay. Oh, my Slack disconnected. Oh, try now. Come on, come back. Okay. Sorry about that, everybody. Okay, now, you over there. You over there. That's me. Okay. Create canvas, 400, 400. Background, 51. This is what I'll do beforehand. And whoops, let's go to Plinko. And let's think about this. Now, that's really what it is. Let's give myself a bit more space. 600, 400. Make it a little bigger. And then let's go to index.html and get rid of box.js. I might want to use the DOM library at some point. I might want to use the sound library. Interesting. Okay. So I think we're ready for Plinko. We're ready for Party Parrot Plinko time. Okay. All right. How long till my phone battery dies? That's the real question. I do have a charger plug, and I could try to plug it in or something. Why isn't this? I want to restart my computer. Let me just give me one little. Bear with me for 1 second. I'm gonna turn my Wi-Fi off here. I'm going to go to settings here, and I'm going to go turn my Wi-Fi off here. Then I'm going to unplug and plug back in this router. Just give it another chance. One last chance. And it is booting up. Router is starting up. So now I should be able to, let me quit this air server thing. Let me turn this back on. Last chance. I swear this is the last time I'm going to try this. Then I'm moving on. Then I'm going to try to log into this. Oops, no. Oh, there we go. I'm going to go there. Wi-Fi back on. Let's connect. Then I'm going to turn back on air server. And I am going to go to AirPlay, Mac Pro. Oh. There we go, air server, there we go, it worked. All right, so now we're live with the soundboard. I'm gonna go to the soundboard, open that up. Good evening. Welcome to the Coding Rainbow. Shoot! Good evening. Welcome to the Coding Train. As we pull into the station, getting ready to play a nice game of Plinko, let's continue reading from the Coding Train storybook. 1,000,000 random digits with 100,000 normal deviates. When we last left off, 98,884. And now, 66,209. 6,830. 53,656. 14,663. Tune in next time on the Coding Train, when we'll continue our storybook. I'm going to put this down over here now. I need some new shtick. Come on, people, help me out here. I got some time. It's a little time in the week to even prepare. So I can't even come up with new material. Okay, now, here we go. Let's get ready for this coding challenge. I really want it to have like a sound at the end. First of all, it's an incredibly long snare drum. And then at the end, it doesn't do anything. Okay. Let me just kind of Google image search Plinko for a second, because I'm not sure I know exactly what Plinko is. Ah, yes, this is Plinko. I do know what Plinko is. But do I have to be kind of exact about this? We're going to be, let's see, what's a nice Plinko? Look at this. I can get Plinko, all these Plinko things I can buy. This looks like a good image. Okay, I'm not going to worry about this. I'm going to make my own Plinko. Ready? Here we go. Yeah, it'd be interesting for somebody to edit together some sort of version of the, or split screen the two camera views. I'm happy for, anybody who wants to mess around with that after these get archived, I'm happy for that to happen. Okay. All aboard! It's Friday evening here on the Coding Train, and I am here ready to create a coding challenge. And today's coding challenge is going to be... never mind all this nonsense. Plinko. So I'm going to attempt to make Plinko using a physics engine known as matter.js. What is Plinko, you may ask? Good question. I'm not entirely sure. But I think Plinko is a thing where you have a bunch of balls that fall from the top of a two-dimensional, it's a physical thing. You drop the balls at the top, there's all these little things that they bounce into, and they end up somewhere on the bottom. That was a terrible explanation. I should redo this whole video. I'm going to make it, and then you guys can, if you don't know what Plinko is, pause and go try to look it up, and then come back, okay? I have a sort of vague idea in my head. Okay, so, yes, and I'm being reminded by Alka in the chat to stay hydrated. Now that I've lost half of the people who maybe were going to watch this video, the rest of you, let's go. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do here is, boy, let's, I'm trying to think about this here. There's a lot of pieces to this. Boy, this is gonna be hard. Let's think about this over on the whiteboard for a second. And apologies to Mathieu, who will now have to edit this part. And I might as well come over here and just erase this for a second. So now I'm going to artificially pretend that I'm doing this again. Okay, so how does Plinko work? I can use the whiteboard to explain it. Plinko is a thing where there is a grid of stationary, I would call them like knobs. I think each row would be offset from the one below it. So it would be something like this, all the way to the bottom. And then the idea is that you would drop things from the top, and it would fall right down and bounce here. And ideally, the idea is there would be a 50% chance of it going this way, and a 50% chance of going that way. Then it would hit here, and there would be a 50% chance of going this way versus a 50% going this way. And interestingly enough, if we do this correctly, which I'm sure we won't, because there's no chance it's me, there's no chance I'm going to do it correctly, we would see a nice normal Gaussian distribution of where they land. Like, they would mostly land in the center with a few outliers. Boy, isn't there some TV show now called The Wall? I should just put I could probably create some sort of clickbait title for this video. but I'm not going to do that. So then the idea, so then they'll fill up the bottom. We could use this to like, you know, you win a certain amount of money or whatever. So this is the simulation. So what I need is, I need some mechanism for catching everything in different slots. So these would be kind of stationary. In the physics engine, I could probably make these stationary rectangles, if that's a thing. Then these would be, and static is the word I'm looking for, static circle objects that are around. And then I'm going to have dynamic circle objects falling from the top. So I need really three kinds of things. I'm going to call these particles because that's a good name for them. I'm going to call these plinkos because we're making plinko. And then this is going to be a bucket. We'll call these buckets to catch the thing. So I need to make three kinds of objects. And so kind of planning this out, like I said, I know I'm going to need arrays for all of these things. So let's sort of see how this goes. Let's try making just the particles first. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, oh, the cup is in front again. Sorry, everybody. You don't want to know what's going on here with my multiple camera system craziness. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a JavaScript file, and I'm going to call it particle.js, and I'm going to say function particle, and I'm going to, when I create a particle, the thing falling from the top, I want to create it at an XY location. Now here's the thing, I'm using a physics engine called matter.js, and I already have in index.html a reference to the matter.js library. Now I also have a reference to the P5JS library. That's the library I'm using for drawing, and that's the library that I use in many of my videos, almost all of them. But matter.js is new, and if you want to learn more about matter.js, I will link to a set of tutorial videos about Matter separately. I'm just going to kind of rapidly go through adding stuff for Matter without maybe explaining everything, but I do have separate tutorial videos. Okay, now, I do need to go to the matter.js website, and I want to Google Matter getting started, maybe wiki, because I know that this is going to have some of the code that I want on it, like this, for example. So one thing is, Matter is a library where all of the objects and functions that you might call from are namespaced. They all start with matter.something, and I'm going to definitely need an engine and a render. I don't need a renderer, actually, because I'm using P5. An engine, a world, bodies. So this is a way of just sort of aliasing them so I don't have to say matter dot all the time. And so what I need is, I want to have an engine. I want to have a world. I want to have a bunch of particles. That's what I'm starting with. Engine, world, and a bunch of particles. Okay. So engine equals matter dot engine dot create. I don't know. World equals engine dot world. What's the chance that that's right? So I need to create an engine, and then I want a reference to the world that that engine creates. It sort of seems unlikely that that's correct. Oh, it is correct. Engine equals engine dot create, and the world is you can see later engine dot world. Okay, great. Now what I want to do is I want to start creating some bodies. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to say var p equals a new particle, and I just want to put it at the top in the middle, 300, 50. So I want to make a single new particle. Now, I'm calling the new particle constructor function, so over here, now what I need to do is I actually need to make something called a body, and body comes from so bodies is a thing that matter.js will make. Matter is the physics engine. It's going to handle moving everything and doing all of that. So my particle object is just a wrapper for a matter.js circle thing. So I want to make a matter.js circle thing at x and y, and it needs to have a radius. This dot r. So, but not this dot r. So I think that's right. So I should look in the documentation. I don't have matter.js memorized, so I'm going to have to pull up the documentation here, go under documentation, go under bodies, and now I'm looking for circle, x, y, radius. Now there's options and all sorts of other things which I might get into, but this looks like I'm doing well so far here. X, y, r. Okay, now the other thing I need to do is I need to say world.add world this.body. What's this doing? I have to, not only do I have to make a body, that's a matter body that can exist and have physics, I need to tell the world that I actually want that body to be in the world. It seems a little bit redundant, but you might want to make objects that that don't participate in the physics yet, so those two things are separated. And then I want to write a function where I can display it, And I should use, let's use the prototype thing. I have some videos that explain prototype. So let's throw caution to the wind. Prototype.show equals function. So if you're wondering about this prototype way of attaching methods to objects, I'll link to a video about prototype, but this is a way of saying all particles are going to have a show function. And in the show function, I'm going to say, what am I going to say? I'm going to say fill 255, stroke 255, ellipse. And where is the body? Now here's the thing. Normally when I make an object, I give it an x and a y, or a position vector. But not here. Right now, I am relying on matter.js to do all the physics for me. So it's up to me to say, hey, you know that body, that's a matter.js body? Could you please tell me what its position is currently? And then I can say, and you know what I'm going to do? I know that eventually I'm going to want rotation. So I'm going to say translate this pos.x, pos.y, instead of setting the ellipse to that location, and then I'm going to draw the ellipse at 0, 0. And I want to give it a diameter, which is its own radius times 2. Now this .r doesn't actually exist. So I don't think that the, oops, and I've got an error there. I seem to remember looking at the matter.js documentation that the circle body doesn't actually keep track of its radius in a property, so I'm just going to make an extra property myself to keep track of it, and that way I can draw it that way. So now I've made a body, I've added it to the world, and I showed I have my own particle object that is a wrapper for a matter.js body, essentially. So now, whoops, if I go to sketch.js and I just say particles dot push p, and then I say p dot show. Let's see if it shows up. I hope so. I hope so. I hope so. I hope so. I would do my drum roll thing now, but that doesn't ever seem to work. Okay. Particle is not defined. Of course, I always forget this. This is almost as much as I forget the fail static. Oh, it's super loud. Oh my god. Okay, hold on. Sorry. You know what? I'm sorry for everybody's ears. Mathieu, let me do that again, and let's not have the music cue when we edit this together. I always forget to add the reference to the new JavaScript file. Yeah, and the sound was laggy. The new JavaScript file to the index.html. So I need to add that here. What did I call it? Particle.js? So I'm going to add that here. Okay, now I'm going to hit refresh. Okay, what did I miss? Cannot read property body of undefined at object. I must have done something wrong. Okay, object.body.create, bodies.circle. So where did I mess this up? So let's comment out, oh, look at this. This is, first of all, nonsense. That should be particles index 0.show, because that's a local variable that I use just to add to the array. and you know what? This is going to be, I have a feeling this is going to be a two-part, a multi-part coding challenge. I'm just saying that right now. So I'll think about that as I go. Because I can see that this is getting more complicated. What am I missing? Cannot read property of undefined, init create. It must be, oh, bodies. No, this dot body equals bodies dot circle. Wait. I'm still getting the error message even with, oh no, I haven't commented it out. Let me comment this out to make sure that it's happening when I create the particle. Okay, that's fine. Let me comment this out. Okay, no error. This is a good way of debugging. Comments everything out, no errors. Let me just try to make the object. Oh, I forgot to add the R. I added an R, and so it needs to have a radius. Otherwise, what's it going to do? Well, let's see if that fixes it. I'm guessing that fixed it. And now we're going to see the particle. There we go. So there's the particle, that single particle. Now it has no physics. Why does it have no physics? Well, here's the thing. A physics engine requires me to say, hey, go to the next moment in time. Move ahead in time. And time can mean a lot of different things, but it can mean real world time, it can mean frame of animation. In this case, I want to tie each time through the draw loop to a new moment in time. And the easiest way to do that, there's a lot of options, the way that you can configure this, is I'm just going to say engine.update. I think that's all I say, engine.update. Or maybe I have to say engine.update. Well, let's try engine.update. Does that do it? No, engine.update is not a function. Engine.update engine. It might be that the function update is namespaced in engine, and then you pass in the thing you want to update. That's it. Okay, so you can see there's my Plinko particle falling down. So we're in good shape. We've got the Plinko particle. Now, maybe what I want to do also is just to kind of, is to do something like, let's have if frame count modulus 60 equals 0. So modulus is the remainder of division. So this will equal 0 when frame count is 0, 60, 120, 180, 240, 300, etc. So I'm going to say add a new particle every 60 frames, which is approximately 2 seconds. Let's do this. Show of undefined. Oh, right. And then, silly me, I should someday use a for each loop. But right now, I'm just going to loop through all the particles and show them. And here we go. So now we should see 2 seconds. And about 2 seconds later, oh boy, something must be wrong here. I'm not seeing any new. Where are those Plinko particles? If frame count modulus 60 equals 0, add a new one. That looks good to me. What have I done wrong? Let's console log frame count, just to make sure that's a thing. Yeah, it looks like it's going. It started with 1, by the way. So I'm not sure why. What did I miss? Okay. Oh, no, this seems right. Put a new one. I'm looking through all of them. Okay. Why? Okay, hold on. Let's console log every 60. Every 60? Ah, so that's happening. Why do I not see a second one? That's strange. Let's look at, first of all, let's make this a little more often, just so we don't have to wait so much time. And let me, let me just see if that array is growing. Yeah, the array is growing. Did I mess up in the particle object? World.add this.body. It's getting a new body each time. What have I missed? P global should be new bodies.circle. Did I do that wrong? Oh, yes. Look at this. Thank you to somebody in the chat whose name scrolled by. I think I called this incorrectly. Let's look at the documentation. This is, hopefully I would have, let's look at, I don't know if that's actually the case. No, look at this. When I make a rectangle in the documentation, I don't have to say new. The function is designed to, so what am I missing here? Oh, I know what the problem is! You guys see it now? Look, it's right here. It's right here. Right there. Translate. Pos.x, pos.y. So I knew I meant to add this earlier when I was doing it, and I thought, whatever. So, translations are cumulative. So when I translate to the position of one particle, the next particle I draw will be relative to that one. And so these are all getting translated way off the screen. I need to not have them be relative to each other. Rather, I need to say push, and I need to say pop. And now, so what push and pop does is it's like save, translate, restore. So it undoes the translation. And now, if I go back to my code, there we go. Look at all my Plinko things. Every 10 frames, my little Plinko particles falling down. So we can go back to Sketch, and I can take out this console log nonsense, and I can put it back to 60, and we can kind of, oh, and there's still another console log happening. Where's that other console log? Oh, particles.length. And so we can see here, and you know what, it's upsetting me that there's not one at the beginning. So I'm also going to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a function, new particle, that just does those 2 lines of code, and oops, and I'm going to say new particle here, and I'm also going to have a new particle instantaneously in setup at the very beginning. So now we get a particle, and 2 seconds later we get particle, and 2 seconds later we get particle. I'm a little bit behind. Okay, now the nice thing is, the physics is already working, as you might have noticed when I made this. Like if I make this every 5 frames, you can see they're kind of like hitting each other. It's a little bit funny. That's a little bit like of a weird, but we're going to get to more physics later. Okay, now I think I'm gonna do this as a two-part challenge, so let me go a little bit further. Let me at least add the stationary Plinkos. So I wanna now try to add these stationary Plinkos. And the truth of the matter is I could probably reuse this particle object and just make particle objects here and give them like an argument that sets them as static. But I'm gonna make a seriously redundant code just for like sort of ease right now. You can think I could use inheritance in a nice way to have them related. I just want to make a separate object that just keeps track of these stationary Plinkos because I just want to treat them differently. So that's how I feel today. Okay, you can refactor my code later to make it better. Okay, so let's come back here and let's go to particle.js and I'm going to do save as. This is really, I'm a little bit uncomfortable with what I'm doing here. I'm going to say plinko.js. And I'm going to say function Plinko, and Plinko, I really should use inheritance here. We'll come back and use inheritance another time. Plinko.prototype.show. And something I'm going to do here is I'm going to add another variable called options. So when you create a physics object in matter.js, in addition to giving it that circle body, an x, a y, and a radius, I can give it some options. And the option I want right now is static, oh, and I'm editing the right file, is static true. So, and then I want to pass this fourth argument as options. There might be a way that I could just make all these options actually. Could I make the x, y? I don't know if that's true. But anyway, that fourth argument is options. And there's other options I'm going to I'll add later, like friction and other physics settings. But let's leave that out for now. Is static makes it something that doesn't move and doesn't experience geometry. Okay. Now, that's right. I forgot that the phone is still going. Should I turn that off? Okay. Look. Okay, so that's not relevant to this particular video. Maybe we can edit that little thing out. Okay, so now, and here's the thing. I could matter.js also has these concept as a composite. So I could tell it to make a stack of things with rows and columns. So I could probably use that. Let's look at that for a second. Now, that's just not the kind of, I think that's great. But I feel like I just need to like set them in my own location right now without using the composite thing. So I'm going to say var plinkos. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say for var x equals, let's use I and j actually. I equals 0, I is less than, let's make the plinko thing 10 by 10 maybe, or 10 by 5. I don't know. 5 by, I don't know what it should be. I should have some variables for maybe columns. Let's do that. And rows. And so we're going to have this many columns, and then I need a spacing. So I'm going to make a sort of a double loop here, nested loop, to go through all the rows. And probably rows should be on the outside, actually. Well, whatever. I'm not so sure just yet. Because I is the x. So actually, I think the way I'm going to think about this is to put I on the inner part of the loop. So I'm doing a nested loop, right? Because I want to say, set all of these. Then go down here and set all of these. So for every row, do all the columns. Next row, do all the columns. Or for every y, do all the x's. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to say var p equals new plinko at I times spacing, comma, j times spacing. Now I haven't figured out what spacing should be, but I just want to know I want it to be at every column and row location with however far apart they're supposed to be. And let's just say right now, spacing equals the width of the window divided by the number of columns. So because I need 5 across, and that's about the spacing. I'm sure I'm going to have to massage this a little bit. And then I'm going to say here, plinkos.pushp. So now I'm adding the plinkos. I love the word plinko. It's such a great word. Plinko, plinko, plinko. Let's make a song about plinkos. And now I want another loop here to go through all of the plinkos and show them. And just to be 100% certain that they're different, I would like to give them like a different color or something. So let's make them like a green color. Color not being my strength here, but let's just do that. So what's going on now? Plink is not defined. So a lot of things first of all, I don't know where that happened. Where did I say plink? Plink is not as good of a word as plinko. I much prefer the word plinko. Oh, plinko. And now I'm going to go to index.html. And now I need to remember this. I remembered it this time. I need to add a reference to plinko. And now I'm going to refresh it, and what am I missing? Cannot read, I've got some sort of like thing that I forgot already again. I probably forgot the R again, right? I probably forgot to pass in a radius. I certainly did. So let's give each one of these things that's separated by spacing a radius of 4 pixels. And now I don't see anything. I see these things falling. I wonder if I have an I and J issue. I'm seeing they're called pegs. I've been told in the chat by Steve that they're not called Plinkos, they're called pegs. That would be a good name for them. Okay, fine. The whole thing is Plinko. I times spacing, J times spacing, J is less than rows, columns, rows. This looks reasonable. Let's just look here. Let's look at the array. Let's make sure it's full of stuff. It only has one thing in it. That's a little bit weird. Oh, and look at it. It's all the way up there, which makes no sense whatsoever. So plus equals spacing in the for loop. Columns. No. Yeah, this is wrong. The whole point of doing this is I want to be able to think of the rows and columns as individual numbers, I and J, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And when I'm drawing to the screen, I want to add the spacing aspect. So now, we can see they're there. Now, it's not in any place that's logical. So one thing that I need is for the center column, right? I need an odd number of columns. Well, I don't need an odd number, but I need a column to line up with where the thing is falling. So first of all, I can get rid of this now. I want the particles to actually just start at the actual top. Camera, moment. This is a nice little edit moment here. As I have a sip, half of my head got chopped off there. I forgot what I was doing. Yeah, I should definitely make the canvas longer. Okay. I forgot what I was doing. Where was I? I'm thinking. If I press the bell, it'll make my brain light up and have the idea. What was the last thing I said? Spacing. Yeah, you guys are giving me good suggestions of what to do next. What's spacing? Okay, I don't know. I'll just go back to something. Okay, so I need to have one of these columns in the center. So let me think about how to do that. And also, I want the particles to start at the top. Yes. So the particles starting at the top, and I need to make the whole thing much taller. So let's go down to 800 pixels. Great. So now we can see it's going down to 800 pixels. I want to shift everything down, right? Everything should start at, and I'm actually going to do this. Var x equals I plus 1 times spacing, because, no. X is fine at I times spacing, and y should be spacing plus I times spacing. Just to kind of offset everything by, and then I'm going to just put x and y here. This will make it a little easier to work out. Whoa, what did I do wrong there? Spacing plus a j, thank you very much. Okay, so that's a little bit better, but I also want to shift everything over by half of spacing, I think. So I want to shift everything over by spacing divided by 2. There we go. Ah, look at that. So first of all, a couple things. It's pretty great, actually. Look at it just get stuck and kind of roll over. So one thing is, this is definitely going to be a puzzle here of having working out the spacing. But one thing is, let's give these things some bounce. So the way that we give things bounce in Matter.js is by working with the friction and restitution. So restitution is a term for elasticity. A high restitution will make it very bouncy. And so what I want to do, and this is why I should be using, is I want to add this options thing both to particle and Plinko, which really should be a peg. And these are not static. I'm going to just work only in the particle for a second. Restitution, and I want that to be 1, which is as bouncy as possible. So let's just add that. Options. That didn't really seem to change anything, right? So let's get rid of any friction. So now the particles should have a high restitution and no friction. Yeah, that's a little bit better, right? You can see it's kind of bouncing, but I probably need to work on the pegs. So I really need the Plinkos, the pegs. So let's actually take these same variables. I'm not sure what it would do here to have sort of different amounts, but let's add a high restitution and a low friction also to the pegs. Wow, I really would expect this to be more bouncy with those numbers, but maybe it just hasn't gathered. Oh, I spelled restitution wrong. That's one of the things about JavaScript. It's not going to tell you. This is a really unfortunate thing. If I was working in another environment, I would be like, I don't know what that is. Restitution. Restitution. What's the chance I got that right now? Restitution. Boing. There we go. Boing. 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 Oh, it's going to be fun to add sound effects to this. So, we can see now we've got something. We've got these things kind of bouncing along here. Now, they're all taking exactly the same path. How are we going to get it to have like a 50% chance of going, well, why is it going to the left? So interesting. This is super interesting. Okay, well, first of all, what I want to do is I want to shift every other row. So let's maybe reduce the restitution a little bit. Yeah, that's a little bit better. And then let me alternate where the rows are. So what I want to do is in sketch.js, I want to say every other row, right, which is if j is the row, right? If j modulus 2 equals 0, then, so then let's, or equals 1. There's got to be a nicer way to do this. So I'm setting x. Then what I want to do is x minus equal, just sort of like take that. Let's do it this way. X equals I plus spacing, and then if it's an even row, then I'm going to add in, offset it by spacing divided by 2. Let's see if that works. There we go. So this looks a bit more. Now here's the thing. I probably need to really calibrate this in some way that they kind of, balance. But let's not worry about that too much, and let's actually just make this, let's just give ourselves a lot more columns and rows and see what happens. And why is the top one now? Oh, because it's not even. I want to have 11 columns. Yeah, there we go. So, and I think I want, so there's going to be there's probably like a specific layout that's going to work pretty optimally well, but this is a good start. So this completes part 1 of this coding challenge. And what I'm going to do in part 2 is I'm going to do a couple things. I don't know what am I going to do in part 2? I'm going to add buckets to the bottom to catch them and maybe think about the layout and spacing a little bit more, okay? So that's what I'm going to do in part 2. Does it really make sense? How long have I been doing this for? This live stream has been going on for 45 minutes. Yeah, it should be way more bouncy, right? I think one thing. So oops. How's my phone live stream going? So I'm at least taking a break. I don't know if Mathieu is watching. I don't think Mathieu is watching this live chat. Make the pegs bigger. Yeah, that's probably a good thing. They're all going initially to the left, so that's one thing. Can you modify the parameters to look like a normal gravity? Well, one thing is the time step here. So I'm seeing a lot of great suggestions. Add randomness, these are drop in from random points. Oh yeah, dropping in from random points would be good. There's lots of things I can add. Oh, but mostly what I want to do, stronger gravity. So I'm taking a little break here to think about this. And then I'll put the stuff in the video tutorial. So I'm trying to think about the stronger gravity. Let's look on the matter.js. I think the matter.js website. Is there a world? I mean, right now it's starting to get really, really slow over time. Is there a way to set gravity? Oh, Matt has gravity. The gravity scale, gravity object. So the world, when I say world.create, I can give boundaries for collision. That's kind of useful. The world, sorry, where was that? World.create. Options, and one of those options can be gravity. I need to destroy the off-screen particle, so I need to add that as well. Yeah. Definitely going to do that. So those are things. Let me make a list of things I need to do in part 2. Oops, this camera's off. increase our gravity, delete particles, add bounds, and then I'm standing for add bounds, add buckets, and I don't know, maybe I could like count a listener. It might be interesting to try like a listener to count which buckets the things land in. Although they're not, the buckets are going to fill up, so they're not going to hit the bottom. I'm not going to worry about that. That'll be somebody else's problem as a follow-up. Reusing them instead of deleting them is a good suggestion from Big Apple in the chat. I could definitely do that. Engine.world.gravity.y. Thank you. Okay. So let me see here. How's my phone battery? There's still 148 people somehow watching, and I'm 75 minutes into this live stream on the phone. I think about this phone live stream is now, nobody's going to want to watch my studio walkthrough when they see it's like a 3-hour video, but whatever. I can edit something out. Maybe something could get edited out of that. That'll be more useful anyway. Okay. I know, so C. Manny is saying I can say engine.world.gravity.y. Even rows need another column. Oh yeah, that's interesting. Let me look here. Yeah, so it's missing like a last piece there, so that I can add. And then also, let's see what we can do about the gravity. So what you're saying is I can say world.gravity.y equals 100 or something. Okay, that worked. Yeah, that's good. So that's good. It's interesting how it's able to fit like all the way through. So that's, what is the default at? 1 maybe? Yeah, so maybe if I just double it. But collision listening I can use for playing sound. So collision listening. But what I wanted to do when I come back, I think I would prefer to engine.create. So I'll just do it. I'll do it that way. That's fine. Okay. Hello, Jello, in the UK. Thanks for watching. Okay. So what time is it? 7 o'clock. Yeah. So I'm going to maybe make the pegs a bigger size. It's a good suggestion as well. Okay, so I'm going to now move into part 2 of this coding challenge. Okay, so I made my list. Sound plus listening. That might actually be a part 3. So I think I can do these things: increase gravity, delete particles, add boundaries, and add the buckets. I think I can do that in part 2, and then maybe part 3 will be adding sound. So that's sort of like its own thing. Okay. Here I am. Okay, welcome to part 2 of Plinko Coding Challenge. And actually just, during the little break I just took between part 1 and part 2, I made a quick list with help from the chat. Here's the things that I'm going to do. I'm going to increase the gravity of the world so that things don't look so sluggish as they're falling. I got to make sure I delete any particles that leave the window, although at some point I'm going to put boundaries. So actually, I might hold off on that, because I was going to add boundaries around the whole world so that they can't leave the window, because the idea is to fill up the buckets at the bottom. But then I want to add buckets at the bottom to fill those things up. And then I actually might make this a part 3. Let's see if we can add a little bit of sound as they hit the things, it's little like ding sounds or whatever. Maybe we can record the bell really quickly and use that sound. Okay, here we are. So first thing I could do is, gravity is part of the world. And so if I just look in the console, if I look at world, we can see here that there are a lot of properties. There's bounds, which there's no boundaries to the worlds right now. That's something I'm going to set. There's no constraints, but there's gravity here, which is an object, and you can see the scale is 0.001, x is 0, y is 2. Why is y 2? Oh, because I already changed it as I was practicing. Y is 1. It's fine. Let me redo that part. No, I'm using my one redo ticket, even though I do that over and over again. Okay, so hold on. Where was I? Okay. So let me look over here and see what I could do. So gravity is part of something, so conceptually there's a world, and there's particles, and there's Plinkos. Gravity is not part of a Plinko, or peg, or a particle. It's part of the world. So I can actually look here in the console, and I can just type world to look and see what the properties of the world are. There's bounds, which is something I want to look at, which has a maximum and a minimum, x and y. Whoops, which is, I clicked the wrong thing. Come on, click again. You can see those are infinity, because I haven't set any bounds. And then there's gravity, which has a scale. I don't 100% know what that is. I should look it up in the documentation, but I have an x and a y. So one thing I can see if the y is 1 right now, I can actually just say world.gravity.y equals 2. So let me double the y so it points down a little bit more. And you can you see that that's moving? Let's just make it more extreme just so you can really see. Let's make this 10. And you can see that gravity is so much stronger right now. So that's kind of useful in terms of getting things to fall a bit more. Pause for a second. Sorry, live stream. I needed a Kleenex, and the phone. Let me see what the battery is here. Those of you watching this right now, hold on, everybody. Those of you watching, I'm at 20% battery. Does anybody want me to really keep this going? Is it okay? Should I turn it off or should I keep it going? Nobody's answering me. I'm talking to you. Leave it on. Okay, so I need to get a plug. I have a plug for it. And what I will do is I will plug it in to this USB port here on this. Actually, let me plug it into this laptop. So it doesn't appear by accident on my screen as a device. And then let me bring this over here and plug it in. Is it plugged in? Oh my god, seriously? That didn't work? USB ports on this laptop don't work. Can I turn this over? Rotated the device. No, don't lock. Did that work? No. Live stream. Okay. Hold on a second, everybody. Sorry for this digression for the regular live stream. I am changing to this camera for a second, as I'm going to plug this into my laptop, and I don't just want my... Yeah, I know I was upside down. Let's see. I can't tell if it's charging or not because it doesn't give me a view. It doesn't let me change. It's locked. It doesn't tell me if it's charging. YouTube, get with the program, man. How come I can't see? If I go out of this app, is it going to stop live streaming? Hold on a sec. All right, I'm just going to have to hope that it's charging. I assume that it's charging right now. And now I'm going to use the yellow mug and this keyboard to keep it propped up. Okay. So if it dies, it dies. Okay. There you go. Okay. So, it's definitely plugged in because, okay. Okay, I'm back. Okay, where did I stop? I changed the gravity to 2. Okay. So we're changing the gravity back to 2, and let's just leave it at that for now. Now let's try adding some boundaries to the world. So what were those again? World.bounds.max.x. So I think that would be world.bounds.max.x and .x equals width. If I really want to, min.x is 0. Let's just try this. Will this do what I think? And then the minimum x. Oh, wait. X and y. No. Hold on. Max.x and y. This is confusing to think about. I want the maximum x and y, and then I want the minimum x and y. And the maximum y is height, and the minimum x and y are both 0. Okay, that's right. Let's now run this again and see. I can't tell if I'm actually... So, I don't think the boundaries does what I think it does, in that, hold on, let me make this just 600 by 600 just so I can see, right? If the boundaries, let's see, hold on, world. I might have done something wrong. World.bounds.max.min, right? So wouldn't that cause it to have like a hard edge? I guess it doesn't. I don't know matter.js to know well enough. So I guess I'm going to go back and eliminate this whole, I'm going to eliminate this whole boundary thing. Does anybody know? Yeah. Let's try different numbers. Just out of curiosity. Oh, look at that. So that definitely did something. Maybe bounds deletes the object? I don't know. So I have no idea what it does. You may need to change a parameter in order to allow bound collisions. Constraints. Switch the max and min. Interesting. Hold on. I'm no longer in this video tutorial. This is maybe bound stops thinking about bodies. All right. Let's look at the documentation. Bounds. Defines the world bounds for collision detection. So I think that means it just stops. It stops doing the collision detection afterwards. Okay, so never mind. That was a misdirection. I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to go back to where I just changed the gravity to 2. So there might have been a weird edit right there, but I just tried something that didn't work out at all, so I'm not going to bother including it. You can click a link to the live stream that has the full archive of all my debugging, but I'm going to get rid of this add bounds thing, because the bounds doesn't actually do what I thought it does. The bounds are something you can set just for where you're going to detect collisions, but it doesn't create hard edges that bounce off. We need to actually create our own boundaries for that. So actually add bounds just... I don't need to go through that. Boy, I should never stop because it totally kills my momentum, and then I never, I have trouble getting it back. Okay, I know what I'm going to do now. Everything is fine with buckets. Oh, I don't know. I know somebody's posted, Alka's posted something about GitHub and an issue, but I'm not going to worry about that. I'm looking here for what I changed. 800. Okay. The mobile stream could be angled up. Okay. Hey, those of you watching this saying show your screen, you're in the wrong live stream. This is an extra live stream that's just going from my phone. I'm in the wrong camera. There's a full live stream over here. Just draw a box around the canvas is exactly what I'm going to do. Sorry, everybody. Constraints is something else. Okay, everything's gone out of whack. I'm going to get back the momentum here. Okay, everybody? Okay, so Mathieu, for you editing this later, this is the moment where I just changed the gravity to 2. Okay, so changing the gravity to 2, I'm going to leave it for that right now. The next thing on my list over here was add bounds. And there is a thing in the world object in addition to gravity called bounds, but I'm not going to use that. That's more, I think, for where you're doing collision detection. Instead, what I'm going to do is just add some objects myself. So I'm going to, yet again, just, from particle.js, I'm going to do a save as, and I'm going to call this a boundary.js. I'm going to make an object that has a x, a y, and a width and a height. It's going to be, and this should be a boundary, and it is something that's static. And instead of making a circle, it's going to be a rectangle. Again, I'm doing a lot of redundant code here, and then I'm going to keep track of the width and the height in separate variables. And I'm going to say boundary.prototype.show, and this should be a rectangle with a width and a height. So what I've done very quickly is show you how you can create a rectangular body by using bodies.rectangle, keeping track of width and height instead of a radius. Otherwise, everything else is the same. I need to add rotation at some point. Don't let me forget, because these things are rotating as they're moving around. Okay, so for this, what I'm going to do just really quickly is I'm also going to make an array, call it bounds. And I'm going to, at the end of setup, just put one at the bottom. Var b equals a new boundary. And so the rectangle is actually thought of based on its center, matter.js. I'm going to say width divided by 2. It's going to be at height. And I'm actually going to like push it off. So what I want is its location to be at height plus 50 because I want its width to be the entire width of the window, and I want its height to be, if it's plus 50, I want its height to be like 100. So it's actually not going to show up on the screen. But, and boundary is not defined because of course I forgot to add it to my index.html. So I have another JavaScript file, come on, boundary.js. Here we go. And boundary is not defined in setup. So what am I missing here? New boundary, probably boundary. That looks right. Index.html, I've got boundary.js, sketch, b equals new boundary. Let's try that again. Syntax error, line number 3, boundary.js. Sorry about that. Is static true? There should not be a semicolon there. Creating an object in JavaScript, you separate the properties with commas, with only one property. I don't even need the commas. Okay, apologies for that. And here we go. So now what we should see is, I gotta wait a little while, but when the ball falls to the bottom, there you can see that. There's now a boundary down there. So that's perfect, that's what I want. And I guess I'm not gonna make this 800 because it's kind of going off a little too low down. So let's just make this 600 by 700 just to push it up a little bit. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, another thing that I could do here is if you notice every other, I don't know if this is really necessary, but it does feel like there should be another particle right here, another peg right there. So that is the odd row. So in the odd row, what if I just did this? Would anybody really care? Yeah, that's fine. There's an extra one also for the even ones. I could be more thoughtful about this, but that's what I'm going to do right now. Okay, so we've got the stuff falling down and landing in the bottom. Okay, I definitely need to do something. I was wrong. I do want to delete particles that fall off the edge, because maybe they're not all going to end up in the bottom. So I should add something where I check if anything is way off screen to remove it to kind of keep things more efficient. So let's add that next. And what I need to do that is I need each particle is the only thing that's moving. So I'm going to say particle.prototype off screen equals a function. And I'm just going to say what makes it off screen. If x, return x is less than 0. Let's say x is less than negative 100. Not x. Okay, so first of all, x equals this dot body dot position dot x. So that's actually the object's location. It's the body's positions x. Right? The physics engine matter.js is controlling everything. Y equals, and you know what? I kind of wanted to make a nice if statement that I just return a Boolean, not an if statement, a nice Boolean expression that returns true or false. Let's just make this simpler. If x is less than negative 50 or x is greater than, I'm just going to use a buffer of 50, y plus 50, then return true. Else, and I'm doing this in a radically inefficient way, but I don't actually ever need to check the top. So I can actually just say return. If any of these is true, if any of these are true, then it's off the screen. So I can use an or. Return the result of all of these. Or y is greater than height plus 50. I'm like hearing the YouTube comments already. Don't use a long-winded if statement where you could do it in one line of code. But this is like kind of cryptic to read. But if an or statement, if any of things in an or statement are true, like false or false or false or false or false or true, the whole thing is true, right? If I'm, okay, so if one of these things are true, the whole thing's going to return true. So now what I need to do is in this loop here where I'm dealing with all the particles, if particles index I dot is off screen. Then I want to say particles index particles dot splice I comma 1. So I just did this in a matter.js tutorial earlier. I'll link to it, where I kind of went through the pitfall here, because I'm taking things out of the array while I'm iterating through it. So really a quick fix that I can do here is just, that I did in that video, is I can just subtract 1 from I. Because the problem is if I'm removing the I element, the other elements slide into it, and then I add 1, I end up skipping over it. So this is going to cause me not to skip anything, and this should remove anything that's off the screen. And of course I have an error. Particles index I is off screen is not a function. Why is it not a function? I just called it off screen. Let's call it is off screen. There we go. So one thing I want to do just to be sure this is really working is let's not check the bottom. Let's check, to see if they go over 100 pixels. So we should see them removed. Now, I forgot something really important. In addition to removing it from my array, I need to tell matter.js that it's not part of the physics anymore. So what I'm going to do, I'm having like a Groundhog Day deja vu thing. Where I'm removing it, I also need to say, I need to say particles, world.remove world particles index I dot body. I think that's it. So I want to tell the matter.js world, so I want to remove something from the matter.js world. The world function is namespaced in the world object. So world.remove from this world, which is my world, this particular particle's body. So take this out of the physics world, then delete it from the array, then go back 1. So let's see if that works. So one way to check if this works, by the way, is now what I'm going to do is I'm not going to remove it from my array, but I'm going to remove it from the physics world. So let's just take that out. This is a good way of debugging to see if it works. So let's see if after 100 the physics stop. So that actually did work. I probably got like a weird, that's interesting how it stopped doing anything. But I can see plainly that this is doing what I want it to do. I'm pretty sure this is right. Anybody tell me if I've done something wrong, but I think I've got this in the right order, and I can go back to my particle object and change this to like height. I don't actually need the height at all, because I only care if it goes, because the bottom has a hard boundary, so I'm actually just going to take that out. I don't need that at all. So I actually don't need to check. I'm only going to check if it's off screen on the Y. Ooh, something froze. Ooh, I crashed this particular, let's just see if this comes back and it works again. Okay, so this should be doing fine. I want to check, here's actually a way that I can check. So nothing's been removed so far. I can say particles.length. There's 6 right now. Particles.length 7. Particles.length 7. Come on, leave the world, people. Checking if it's working. Boy, there's too much friction at the bottom. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to say world.body. Oh no, this is never going to work because there's a gazillion things. Okay, edit this part out. It stopped because you commented out the splice, but still did. Hold on, I got to go back. What's a good way to confirm that this is really doing what I want it to do? I think I just have to rely on it being correct. You may want to check the height if the pellets get off screen by the sides. No, they're going to fall. So the question is, no, I can figure this out, right? Because how many, sorry, I'm off. The only things are the boundaries, so plinkos.length. Okay, hold on. Let me debug to see if this is really working, and I want to be thoughtful about this. So, because I really want to make sure that I've done the code correctly, and I think this will show you a good way to debug this, is what I'm going to do is actually completely take out all the plinkos. So now I have to have this. Oh, look at that. Whoa! Oh, no, I got to do this. Okay, now there's no plinkos. Okay? so now that there's no Plinkos, and I'm also going to remove this boundary. And then I actually, unfortunately now, need to go back and add this y back in, or y is greater than height. So the way that I'm going to know that this works is, put this back in. The way that I'm going to know that this is actually working is by looking at the length of the array. So particles.length is 1. It's never going to be more than 1 because by the time the next one comes, one's been removed. The question is, world.bodies is what matter.js thinks is there. Is that also 1? It is. So things are working, right? Because if I took out my, if I took out this world.remove, if I didn't remove it from the matter.js world, I could look at particles.length and I'm going to continuously see 1, but now there's going to be 3 in the world body. So I need to make sure it's being removed from both places. So now that I feel confident that that's working, I can put my boundary back in at the bottom, and I can put the Plinkos back in here. Okay, here we go. Now, looking at my list, what do I have left? I've increased the gravity, I'm removing particles, I added a boundary at the bottom, I need to add buckets. So what I want to do is just add some little separators here, and I probably want to align them, right, with that first row. That probably is the way I'm supposed to do it, although I'm sure there's a specific layout. Okay, let's add those. So how many of those need to, let's add those. Okay, so what I need to do, those are also going to be boundaries. So I'm going to use that boundaries array, boundaries.pushB, and now I'm going to write a loop that's similar. I only need to do it for one set of columns. So let me say I equals 0, I is less than column. I want to do all these columns. And what I want to do is say the x is I times spacing. Right? That's what it is for. Let's see what goes on. Let me try. X is I times spacing. The y is the bottom. So let me think of a height here. Those buckets are gonna have a height. They're gonna be rectangles that are gonna have a height of like, I don't know, let's just try like 30 pixels and a width of like 10 pixels. So the y is going to be, if I want it to be a boundary that sits on top of the floor, the y is height minus h divided by 2. Because I need a rectangle. This is confusing. But basically, if this is the bottom, this is my rectangle, this is its height, this is the canvas's height minus height divided by 2 is this location here. So once I do that, then I can create a new boundary. And I'm reusing a variable name, which is probably a bad idea. But I can create another new boundary, which is at x comma y width comma height. Because I calculated all that already. And I can also say boundaries.pushB. And the reason why I want to put it into an array is because I also want to say, I also want to display all of them. So for all the boundaries, boundaries index I dot show. Now, what does the boundary show function have? It shows a rectangle, and let me say fill 0, stroke 0. Let me make it a different color here. And uncaught reference error. Boundaries is not defined at setup. Boundaries. Did I not make a boundaries array? Oh, I called it bounds. So that's nice because it's a little bit shorter. Of course, now I have to change it everywhere. So bounds.push, and then I need to loop through that bounds array. Okay, there we go. Those are so tiny. Look at the tiny, okay, so those are going to be, have to be much taller. I guess I wasn't really thinking. And I don't know why, they can be white. I don't know why I was like, I had to change their color. So in the, where am I? Boundary, let me make the color white. And here, let me color white. And then, what am I doing now? On Sketch where I create them, let's make the height 100. My goodness. Why am I being so stingy? Okay, does this So, and then I could use one extra one, right? I could use one extra one here. Not cut that off of my laptop. I could use an extra one. I could use an extra one. So I already said columns plus 1. Columns plus 2? Wait, why am I not getting? Oh, because it's there, but it's right off the screen. No. It must be, right? Columns plus, whoops. So I don't know, why am I not seeing this one here? Should be like half on the screen, I would think. Because this one is, so let me just offset it a little bit. 10 plus, yeah, let me just see. Minus 10, just to offset it. Yeah, it's there. So I have to finesse the spacing and stuff a little bit. So I'm going to just leave it at that. Because there's one, what I want is, but it should be at the center, right? So x is I times spacing, so x is 0, and the width is 10. So I should see 5 pixels on and 5 pixels off. What if I change this to 20? What am I doing wrong here? Oh, I know what I'm doing wrong. I'm not drawing it correctly. No wonder. So I don't know if some of that thinking can be edited out. I need to move this up again because it's too low for me. But I forgot a really, really key thing. If I go into the boundaries, look at this. I'm drawing the rectangles in the default way that P5 thinks of rectangles with 0, 0 in the top left. And that's why they're actually so short. I'm just drawing them in the completely wrong place. Whereas Matter.js thinks of rectangles with the registration point in the center. So I need to have, but I'm drawing match what Matter.js thinks, which I need to say rect mode center. So here we go. There we go. So now it's right, and you can see that's what I expected it to do. It had one sort of half off at the edge. So you can see here are my Plinko things. Let me just do this. Oops, no, let me do this. So you can see it a little bit better. Okay, let me make it a little bit wider. Sketch.js, just to give us some more stuff to work with. 700, 800, let's try that. There we go. So now let's take a look at this. Ooh, I did something weird. Oh, the spacing, never mind. Why did I change this? I didn't mean to do that. Let's go back to what it was. Okay, so here we go. Plinko. So this ends the second part. What I'm going to do is, right now is take a short break, and I'm going to come back and add a few sounds to this. And during that short break, I might also, one thing I really got to fix is, look at it, always goes to the left up there. And the whole point of this is for it to 50% of the time go to the left and 50% of the time go to the right. So I'm going to add a few features to improve this in the next video. You can think about maybe how you would do that yourself. And look at this, they're all landing basically in the same spot too. So I need to work on adding a little bit of randomness to allow for things to change. Okay, so I'll see you in the next third part where I'm going to improve on this a little bit. See you there. Okay, so now I'm going to take a little break and scratch my nose. Yeah, it totally violates so I need to change the drop point at the top to be slightly off to the left or right. And then I want to add some sound. So I need to do collision listening so I can add some sound. So first of all, 7:30. I need to use my phone to text that I'm running a little bit late because I got to finish this. So I'm going to. I want to go a quick time. Can I just make a quick new audio recording? This is like such a terrible idea. Okay, everybody, here we go. Live audio recording. Shh. Ooh, too loud. Too loud. Let's try that again. That actually worked kind of well, though. Let's do one more time. New audio recording. I'm just going to have it be further away. It was so close to the microphone. Here we go. That's pretty good. People are getting confused with the double stream. Should I shut off the mobile stream? If you're watching this on the mobile stream, you should switch to, what happens if you go to user/shiftman/live? Does that end up in the correct stream? Okay, so let me save this as ding under desktop. Where's my desktop? Desktop matter.js, Plinko. Ding. What kind of file is it going to save it as? And how big is it going to be? It is, what kind of weird, oh no, it's like an Apple audio something nonsense. Apple MPEG-4 audio. Is that going to work with P5.js? Does anybody know? What's its actual file name? How come it's not showing me the extensions? I think it must be MP4, right? Okay. Okay, thank you, Matt Matchia, making the phone stream as unlisted. Okay, that'll help. Sorry, everybody. Bigger pegs, too, is a good... it defaults to the mobile. Oh, okay. Let's see if we can get that resolved. Sorry for those of you watching this stream. I'm looking at you. This is surprisingly... I really need to deal with kind of interesting... so hopefully that's going to get worked out. I can always turn off the mobile stream if that doesn't fix it. Okay. So let me just see, while we're waiting, let me just test this. Function preload. Oh, M4A. That's never going to work, right? Wait, okay, let's see. What's the chance? This is really, I don't want to waste too much time on this. Yeah, Alco, it'd be great for your help, but I don't have an easy way. I should set up like a shared Google Drive or something that people can help me with files during the, where am I? Desktop, matter.js. Let me, I think what I can do is go to a silly QuickTime. Well, I have Audacity, it just showed me, and I can trim it to where it starts. So I can do that, trim, and so that's gonna make it start immediately. By the way, is that really loud? Is that like killing people's ears? And I should also trim the end, because I have a, it's not too loud, okay, great. So let me save this as ding2. I'm also gonna trim the end, just a little bit here. And hit save, ding3. Okay, and then what I want to do is let me try export, audio only, and it's not giving me options. I guess I could do it in Audacity. Let's try opening it, no, not Audacity. And let me do export to MP3, that should work. Ding.mp3. Plinko. Yeah, okay. Nope, that's not saved yet. Let's see if this works. Okay, so I think I can delete, I'm gonna just save that original. Let me just put all this stuff somewhere. Well, I'm gonna throw caution to the wind. I'm gonna delete those other files. They're in the trash when you get back. Okay, so that should be the ding. Is the mobile versus live stream thing sort of worked out, or is that still an issue? Okay, so this is really filling up here. I need to do a different color. Let me think about this. Okay, so I'm gonna close this. I'm gonna leave this running. Have my code up. Am I ready to go? Okay. 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 Wait, no. Okay. Okay, here we are. I'm in the last part 3 of the Plinko coding challenge. And you can see I actually left this running for a little bit. You can see it's kind of like got a little bit of distribution that's skewed to the left. There's a lot of stuff to add to this to make it better, and I hope that those of you watching these videos, at the end, you'll check the description for a link to the code. You'll make your own version, and you'll see when you look at the code at GitHub, there's a README file that if you make your own variation on it, you can actually link to. So I encourage you to do that. If you have questions about how to do that, ask it in the comments or tweet me at Schiffman. But what I want to do is at least make a few improvements to this. So number one is, I really don't want them all to take the exact same path. If you notice, they're all taking the exact same path. It's that one, it's that one, it's that one. So I need to introduce some variation here. The other thing that I want to do is add a sound each time it hits one of these little pegs, maybe. I don't know if that's going to become incredibly annoying, but I'm going to try that. And then I also think that I should add maybe some color to these objects, because right now it's very hard to sort of see what's going on with all of these balls, all these particles on top of each other. Okay, so let me hit refresh here. This is what it looks like at the beginning. So let's at least first add some rainbow colors, for lack of a better idea. And I'm going to do kind of the worst design idea possible, which is just say this.col equals random equals a color that has a random, this is p5 function to create a color variable. So I'm going to give each object a color, which is a random R, G, and B value, and then I'm going to say fill with that color and stroke 255. So let's do that, and now what? And this should be this dot col for color, and now we can see, okay, at least this is going to help me look at this by getting a bunch of random colors. So I like that, that's kind of nice. And then there's no point for the pegs to be green anymore, so let's make those pegs just plain old-fashioned white. So now here's our Plinko board we've got now. Now let's add some randomness. Now there's a few different ways I could do this. Number one is I could maybe like offset its X location by a little bit. I could give it kind of a little initial velocity or initial force. I could add kind of like a random wind. There's so many ways. But yes, I should, okay. Hold on, pause. So I'm getting some complaints about the color, which I totally agree. And also, look at this, I'm getting some, like, I think the friction and restitution I should probably work on, but I'm not going to worry about that. Randomize the hue. Okay, let's go back. I'm taking your suggestion a little bit too seriously. And I'm going to back up to where I was filling the color. And at some point I'm going to say, and I'm going to say, okay, well, Matthew, this would be a puzzle to edit this back in, but pretend I just typed this, and I'm going to fill with that color. Okay, Alka is making a good suggestion in the chat. Let me do it with color mode HSB. It'll be a little bit nicer. So I'm going to say color mode HSB, which changes the colors to having a hue, saturation, and brightness. And so all I want to do actually is, oops, I went to that page. This is a good suggestion. It's a little, by the way, thank you. This is body.velocity is read only, body.position previous. Yeah. Okay, so that's a great point, Alka. And maybe I'll bring it up, but I'm still going to just randomize our location, I think, because that's, I think, too complex for this. Sorry, everybody. Do over. Let me just go all the way back. Where am I here? Particle, wait, hold on. I've got too many things open. And what I'm going to do is put it back to what it was. And try doing the color again. There we go. This is what it was before. Okay. So let's now add color to these particles. So what I'm going to do in the particle object is I'm just going to add a new variable, this dot color. And actually, Alka, who's made the suggestion several times now in the chat, I'm going to change the color mode to HSB. So instead of creating a color as a red, green, and blue value, I'm going to create a color as a hue, saturation, and brightness, which I think will make it more rainbowy, since that's that's about my only way of thinking of colors. So I'm going to say, and actually I'm just going to give it a hue. This dot hue equals random 360. I believe the default range is between 0 and 360 for hue values in P5.js. So now I can say fill that random hue, and we'll give it a saturation of 255 and a brightness of 255. And we'll take out the stroke. We can also give it a little alpha, or maybe it doesn't need alpha, and let's see what happens. There we go. Oh, look what I've done. So this is giving me now some colorful particles, but notice how everything else changed, because everything else now is hue, saturation, brightness. So what I need to do is look at everything else that I color. This is why I didn't want to do that. But so I'm just going to change, first of all, I'm just going to make everything white, the Plinko things, and the boundaries can also be white, and then the background can be, the background can be in boundary. I've lost my, oh no, the background in Sketch. Oh, I've caused so many problems. Best of intentions. The background can be black. Let's just do that. There we go. Okay, I don't know. So color is not my strong suit here. This is so ugly, but it's gonna have to do right now. You are going to improve this and make it beautiful. Okay, so here we go. But now, the real important thing that I wanted to do is randomize how they're falling just a little bit. So how can I do that? I want to randomize how they're falling. So there's a bunch of ways I could do this. So you're going to need to really read the documentation if you want to give it kind of an initial velocity. It really actually, there's some tricky ways to do it. There's a set velocity function that you can use, but I'm going to do something kind of simpler, which is I just want to give it kind of like a little bit of a random offset in its location. So if I go to the particle object, where I set the particle's location is here, the circle at x. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say x plus equals random -1. I'm just going to give it like a little bit of an offset either to the left or the right. Let's see what that does. Whoop, fell to the right. Whoop, fell to the left. So I think this is better now. So we can see that they're now moving to the left or the right. And again, I'm not sure if there's some nuance here to really how we need to do all the spacing so they bounce against things more properly. Well, let's let this run for a little while. Maybe the buckets should be bigger, maybe there's lots of things you could do to affect this, but I'm gonna let this run for a little while, and what I'm going to do is add sound. Now it's quite possible that the sound, I recorded my bell, so when it hits, that's gonna not be good, because it's gonna ring the bell quite a bit. So I probably need another, and then you can see that they're going off the left and the right, but I'm removing them, that's fine. All of you are gonna fix this and make it much better. Let's at least add the sound. So now what I have in the directory here, I did this when I took a little break. If I go to the Plinko example, I have an MP3 file ding called ding, which makes a little ding. I have a feeling this is going to be somewhat annoying, that it's going to make a ding sound, but let's give it a try anyway and see what happens. I think it would be much more exciting to have them be musical notes and maybe in a certain key or something, and it plays a little song. I hope you create that. So you can use sound synthesis. So I'm just going to add function preload, which is an easy way to load some media assets before the sketch starts without a callback, although I certainly could use a callback. And I'm going to make a variable called ding. I'm going to say ding equals load sound ding.mp3. Now one thing I need to make sure is in index.html, I don't see, I do have a reference to p5.sound.js. So you need to also load the sound library. And now what I'm going to do is go back to here, and I just want to play the sound. So what I want to do is I'm just going to add function mouse pressed, and I'm just going to say ding.play. So let's just see what this does. Oh, I read. So that's basically all I need. Is that really loud? I hope that's okay. I think I have the volume kind of turned down as it goes in. So now here's the thing. I thought, oh, this will be an easy problem. All I have to do is play the sound every time a particle hits a plinko or a peg. Oh boy, I'm going to have to look at the matter.js documentation because the problem is, oops. I'm going to have to look at the matter.js documentation because the problem is I'm not in control of the physics. Remember, I just set up the world and said put these things in it in these locations and let it go. About to sing a copyrighted song, which I stopped myself to do. Okay, you really don't want me to. How do I know if I'm not in control of the physics engine when a particle hits a peg? You know, I can start to look at their distance against each other, but then I'm like, the whole point is I'm not, so I'm not the one, I don't want to do that because then I'm rewriting the physics engine. The physics engine is doing this. So most physics engines come with some type of event listener, a way that I can get a callback function that's triggered whenever two bodies collide. So I actually have no idea how to do this, because I haven't tried to do this yet with matter.js. I've done it with Box2D and other physics engines. So let me come over here, and I guess we're just going to have to start looking in the matter.js documentation. So I'm going to look in documentation. What am I looking for? Events, that sounds right. Events off, events on. A callback function to a given event. So this might be right. Trigger, no, events on. I have a feeling that's it. Subscribe. Now, what are my possible event names? And what is the object? I need some more information here, matter.js documentation. So let me think about this. Maybe there's an example. Is there an example? Matter.js example, collision event. Let's look at this. Event system issue, collision start. Do I need collision matters.event object? So collision. So this looks like what I want. The object is the engine and collision start, and then I get an event which has pairs. So this will do for me. Whoops. Okay, so this looks like exactly what I want to do. I want to know when a collision has started, and I want to know which things have collided. So let's grab this code and put it in right here. So matters.event. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep with our way of doing things, and I'm going to say events equals matter.events, just to keep that in my list of aliases. And I'm going to say events on, and I need to do this in setup. So after I've made the engine, I want to assign a collision start event, and I'm going to take this out here and say collision. So I think it'll be a little easier to read here if I have my own function called a collision that receives an argument called event. So the idea here, and I apologize for this not being, let me see if I can move this over a little bit. So the idea here is that I'm going to say, I want to assign a collision start event with this particular engine to this function called collision. And then this function collision will automatically receive an argument called event, which is going to have information about what's collided. So I'm just going to say console.log event. I just want to see what those events look like. So let's see if this works. Okay, stop, there's too many. There's too many of you. I just want to look at one. So what I see is collision start, a pair. The pair has, an object. It has a body A and a body B. I have a feeling that these are the two things that have collided. Body A and body B. So that's good, I need that. There's probably there's information about the collision, but all sorts of there's all sorts of stuff in there. But I think it's enough for me to look at the event pairs index 0. Why could there be multiple? I guess there could be multiple pairs in the same time that come into one event. But I'm gonna. So I want to look at the pairs are event pairs, and then the collision is the. I'm gonna do a loop. I'll do a loop. That's fine. There could be multiple pairs. So this is an array. probably unnecessary. It looks like there's just one pair each time. But I'm going to say body A equals pairs index I, body A, and body B equals pairs index I, body B. Now bodies can have labels and names and IDs, which could allow you to, and I think I'm going to need to do this actually. I'm going to need to assign them a label. So let's just look at this for a second. So let's look at what I'm getting. And let's just look at console.log body A and body B. Oh, maybe I need to look at those separately. Let's just look at one of them. Let's just look at body A. So here we go. Refresh. Wait, hold on. Why is that stupid X thing there? Okay, refresh. So okay, now I'm getting a body. Oh look, it even says circle body. It has a label, and it has an ID. So this one has a label, it has a different ID. So this is good. So the thing that I want to know though is all these things can collide with each other. I want to know only when a particle has collided with a Plinko. I mean, I might want to know when particles collide with each other, or particles collide with the ground body or the wall, these bucket things. But just for right now, I want to know when. So the way that I'm going to do this is, there's probably a mechanism in matter.js that might handle this for me. But here's the thing. This is my thing, particle. My particle has a body in it. And what I want to do is I'm going to say this dot body dot, this is what Box2D does actually. Box2D allows you to assign user data. So I'm just going to kind of, I'm trying to think of what's the best way, I'm just saying dot particle. Oh, no. I'm going to say type. Yeah, I'm just going to say type equals, I'm just going to use a string. So I'm adding my own property to the matter.js body called type. And I could use the label. Maybe I should just use its label. I'm going to overwrite its label. How about that? And I'll call it particle. So I'm not using the label for anything else. I don't think internally particle.js is using the label. So I need to give particle a label. And then in the Plinko thing, I'm going to give it a label as Plinko. So now what I want to do is in that listener, right, where I have this collision, I want to console log body.a.label. Let's look at this. Particle, Plinko, particle. So let me look at body.a label and body.b label. So now we're seeing particle and a Plinko, particle and a Plinko, particle and a Plinko, Plinko and a particle, Plinko and a particle, Plinko and a particle and a rectangle body, right? That's the bottom. So I only want to play the sound if it's a particle and a Plinko. So what I can say now is if body A is a particle and body B, label. So hold on. Let's just call label A equals body A's label. And label B is body B's label. Got this whole extra collision listening thing in this video tutorial all of a sudden. So now I'm going to say if label A is a particle and label B is a Plinko, what was it called? Ding.play. And then this is a very silly way that I'm going to write this, because there's all sorts of nicer ways I can write this, but also, if the first one was a Plinko and the second one was a particle, also play the sound. So let's give this a try and see what happens. Oh my god. Okay, stop. Please, nobody ever run this program again. You get the idea though. So I encourage you to be more thoughtful about this. Let's comment this out right now. Let's comment that out, to think about how could you, have a different label or a different type for each row. How could you have a bunch of different sound? Does that really hurt everybody's ears? I'm so sorry. There needs to be a warning. Is that going to be, do I need to do that again? So hopefully this isn't ruining everybody's ears, but I'm actually done with this. This is Plinko. I'm going to let it run for a little while. Thank you for watching. This was... I could have recorded my train whistle thing. So this is the Plinko coding challenge in Matter.js. I hope that you make a better version of this. Maybe you think you think about the visual design of it, you think about the sound aspect of it, you think about why you're using it in the first place. Perhaps you can use it as a part of a game or something else, or a poetry generator. I'm sure there are like lots of inaccuracies in terms of like an actual perfect Plinko board that creates a nice normalized distribution. You should see a nice bell curve. So maybe you can make a variation of it where you really see that bell curve perfectly. So share those with me. Share the versions you make, and I'll see you in another coding challenge someday. Thanks for watching. Okay. So there we go, everybody. It is 8 o'clock. This always happens. This has now been almost a 2-hour live stream of the Plinko coding challenge. The thing that I want to do, let me see if I can find this example really quickly. The thing that I didn't get to today, but I'll give you a future teaser. I don't know when I'm going to get to this. Too many things I wanted to do today. I wish I could just stay here all night and keep coding. It's lots of fun. I'm going to go to my class syllabus, github.com/shiftman. I'm just going to show you where this example is for any of you who are interested. I'm going to go to repositories. This is the current course that I'm teaching at NYU, Physics and Animation. I made an extra example. So I'm just going to, instead of cloning the repository, I'm just going to download it. And I'm going to open it up. And this is the other coding challenge that I hope to do. And this is one I've actually done already. So unlike that Plinko one, I'm kind of doing it from scratch. This is essentially, this is exactly my coding challenge number something. Somebody can tell me in the chat. It's a coding challenge where I made a cloth simulation in 3D. This is exactly that cloth simulation, 10,000 steps on my Fitbit. Cloth simulation, but instead of a cloth hanging down, a cloth attached to a pole on the side with wind blowing, it's a flag simulation. And what I'm going to do really quickly before I run it for you is I'm just going to go to where I'm rendering it, and I'm going to comment out this texture, and I'm going to say stroke 255, and I'm going to run it. And, oh, you can't see that. So, well, what this is, if I zoom in, is it's a lot of, hold on, stroke weight 1. You can see this is that mesh, and you can see this is like a little flag simulation, and there's a little Perlin noise wind pushing it to the right. And what I can do, the thing that I want to show you is, in addition to seeing that mesh, I can turn off the stroke, and I don't remember what it's using. Oh, it's using a cat. This cat. So I can texture it with that cat, and now I have my cat flag. So this is the thing that I wanted to do. I guess I will pick this up next week. It doesn't seem very likely that I'll have time to do a bonus live stream before next Friday. So far, in the last 2 days, I did a live stream yesterday for 2 hours, this morning for 2 hours, and now for about 2 hours. It's like 6 hours in 2 days, which is pretty good. Thank you, patrons, for like helping motivate me to do this kind of stuff. But I will come back and show you this. So someone's asking, the reason why I wanted to show this is I'm having trouble getting image texturing to work in P5, and I haven't dug into it. I have a feeling it's mostly not implemented yet, but I have seen some texture examples. This is running in processing and using 3D. So, but you could do this in 2D, texturing works in 2D, but I haven't really investigated how well this works in P5. So if anybody wants to download this example and sort of help figure out like what's working in P5, what's not working, maybe dig into that. Maybe we could work together as a community to help add this feature to P5 to get this texturing working. That's something, a GIF on a flag, yes. That's gotta happen, right? Okay, so anyway, I encourage you to check out this example. I am now gonna play my goodbye song. I have, this mobile live stream is still going. Hello, mobile live stream. You can now, for an action, you can see here, there's my computer, there's my preview screen, this is the chat that's going on right now. Just the simulation would be great in P5 without the texturing. So that should work. What beard scratching noise is so nice. Oh, did I have like a weird beard scratching noise? The goodbye song is called Rainbow from, I believe I got it from, I think I got it from Free Music Archive. So I often use a Free Music Archive to look for royalty-free, public domain, Creative Commons licensed music, etc. Textures on a sphere you absolutely can do. One nice thing about Urban at Work is asking, one thing about processing, if you want to texture a sphere, is you can actually, processing will texture it for you automatically if you use the P-shape object. So I'm doing it manually by setting all the vertices of the shape and the pixels, but a sphere, you could do that yourself, and I have a sphere geometry tutorial that you can watch. Please read some numbers. Are people really requesting me to read numbers? Pause. How do I pause that pauses everything. That stops it. All right, here's some more numbers for you guys. You asked for it. My children are probably going to bed right now. Of course, they're not going to bed right now on a Friday. Probably bouncing off the walls. But tonight, I won't read this to them. What have we been reading that's good? We've been reading some really good stuff recently. 24,179. 78,159. 53,752. I can't believe that somebody requested this and now I'm doing it. Okay. Q&A, not numbers, yes. I think that's a smart, let me go back to my song. Start it over, so you've got an extra 3 minutes. So I'm going to look for some questions in the chat. Pi to 30,000 digits. More numbers, read pi. Look, here's the thing, people. For those of you who are watching, this book, A Million Random Digits, I will read the entire book if I get to 1 million subscribers. I will read the entire book. I don't know if that's realistic or how I'm going to make that happen. So I'm probably really going to regret having said that, because I at least should read one page and figure out how long that takes, because there's a lot of pages, but that's my plan. Would it be possible to change that falling particle to a rectangle and change the color upon collision, right? Yes, absolutely. So, and I forgot, I never did anything about rotation. So I completely forgot the rotation time. Okay. Can I solve the Rubik's Cube? I'm not good at things like the Rubik's Cube. No, I'll just be sweating. Why does this book exist? There's actually a really good reason why this book exists. This book is from the 40s, I believe, and we take it for granted that we could just have random number generators at our fingertips to run certain kinds of simulations, to simulate how stock prices might, to think about random walks, so to speak. And I could read you this introduction here. The volume you are holding documents a remarkable undertaking by a group of mathematicians, engineers, and data processors that ran in the 1940s and 50s to create a very large assembly of randomly distributed numbers or digits. So, there's a lot of cryptography problems, all sorts of scientific mathematical problems that require random numbers. And in the 40s and 50s, you couldn't just say math.random. So, is Plinko still running? Yeah, I should always have a cat flag behind me. Yep, Plinko is still running. So, this is not tuned very well. So many of them, it's not very full because so many of them are going off the edge. So, I need to work on that. What was your first computer and programming language? My first computer was an Apple II Plus, somewhere in elementary school, and I did learn some BASIC when I had that. On your Vimeo page, I saw a video called Neo Geo. That project was actually made with Box2D. So it's a sort of crazy, it's a collaboration with an artist named Marina Zerkow. And so this is, I'm looking for the one though, I have like sort of high resolution, yeah, this one. So this is a video that is a kind of simulation of, in a way, like oil drilling, not an accurate scientific video. Unfortunately, it's, I'm sure the YouTube compression is kind of a disaster here, trying to re-show this, and in a little bit, there'll be like a little bit of a gush of oil. Oh, there we go. So this is all crazily done with Box2D. It does not run in real time. So all of the physics were rendered after the fact. Okay, I gotta get going and get home. I'm gonna see if there's one last question, anything in Slack. Plinko's still running, I checked. So thank you everybody for watching, thank you for your support. I hope to next week launch the Coding Train store. If you're interested in sort of t-shirts and mugs, I think that's probably all we have at this point, but I'm using a service called Printful.com, so if people have real interest in other products, I can definitely release them. And then I might also, if I have time, then it's it does ship internationally, but it's expensive, so I might look for some other international options. So that's one thing. I talked about Google Summer of Code. I meant to talk about it in, that's the t-shirt I'm wearing, in the earlier this morning live stream. So I should try to find, but what I need to remember to do, someone remind me, is to tweet out a link to this morning's live stream, the time code where I talk about Google Summer of Code. So if you're interested, I mentioned a bit about that. Can I sell this yellow mug? It's not like a thing now. That's sort of an interesting idea. I'm going to have a Coding Train mug as soon as I get mine. It just hasn't been shipped to me yet. I'm based in New York City. Show us the mug. Well, I have this mug. I have a magic mug. Look at this. It's an invisible mug. Because as we know, it's important when you're riding a train and coding to stay hydrated. Okay, thank you everybody. I'm going to go over here and click this stop button. I appreciate all the support. You can send me messages on Twitter @Schiffman. You should subscribe, I guess, and like things. YouTube likes that, I guess. It helps people find the videos. You can share it with other people. One thing I love, if you have a friend who wants to learn programming, please share with them my beginner playlists. If you think they would be helpful to that person, because I'm always curious to see if someone can really learn from nothing through my channel. Of course there's the Patreon as well, which Alka posted in the chat. Thank you. Okay, so I'm clicking the button and signing off. It's 8 o'clock, an hour later than I said it would be, so thank you family for tolerating me being late on Friday, as I've always been these last few weeks, and I will see you all soon. Thank you. Okay. Oh, I'm still here. What's so funny is this live stream is still going. Okay, I'm going to shut this one down now. Okay, everybody. I'm going to hit the finish button. I forgot. I almost left this on, and I don't know what I would have done. That would have been embarrassing, but sometimes I talk to myself or whatever. I'm going to hit this finish button. There's only 63 of you watching, so hello to you 63 core mobile live stream people. Okay, here we go. Finish. Yes, I am sure I want to stop streaming.